Hello, welcome to my presentation, How to Prepare Teachers for Culturally and Linguistically Diverse Classrooms. First, I'd like to start with the rationale for choosing this topic. Before coming to study at University of Regina, I used to work as a foreign language teacher at a university college back in China. So it has always been my interest to learn more about how culture and language would influence students' learning. When I came here, I had a chance to learn about Canada's multiculturalism policies and the influence on education. Now, since the Canadian society is becoming even more diverse, I wanted to know more about how teachers are prepared to face the challenges that multiculturalism brings about. So I started doing my research, and I came across many articles talking about student teachers' learning experiences. I think it would be an interesting starting point for me to have a closer look at how teacher education works, because these teacher education programs play such a crucial role in shaping teachers' beliefs and their curriculum decisions. This kind of learning experience will certainly form a rich repertoire that student teachers will continually draw upon and to reflect on in their future practice. There are some common problems and concerns regarding multicultural education identified in the readings. Some studies revealed student teachers' helplessness in dealing with multicultural conflicts, which often involved racial issues in classrooms, and sometimes they even expressed a resistance to multicultural education. This resistance might be due to a number of reasons. For instance, some of them still tend to value Western cultures more than other cultures, and some may have doubts about the efficiency of multicultural teaching in achieving racial integration and academic performance. Others, who are kind of more supportive of multiculturalism, criticizing about the superficial understanding of multicultural education. They think that multiculturalism should be more than cultural celebrations and introduction of exotic foods or music. Instead, it should be able to bring about some significant changes in social inequalities. These findings raise questions such as if the emphasis on cultural differences might further broaden the cultural gaps instead of promoting racial integration. Forms of racism under the guise of cultural differences may be ignored, which may cause the taken for grantedness of racial dominance. This may also be one of the reasons that some student teachers feel reluctant or helpless in dealing with racial issues in multicultural classrooms. So, how to deal with these problems and concerns? Studies suggest that teacher education programs should consider more about student teachers' personal experiences and background. These programs need to address the issues that student teachers are most concerned of, and to design curriculum which can truly reflect their needs and interests. Also, these programs need to provide student teachers with greater exposure to multicultural environments and issues in order to cultivate their cultural awareness and sensitivity. Opportunities could be provided, such as field experiences in multicultural classrooms, for student teachers to learn from the interaction with diverse student populations and with experienced teachers. Other than this greater exposure, teacher education programs should also provide a theoretical basis that guide student teachers' critical reflection throughout the entire education program. The critical race theory could be one of the options because it guides student teachers to critically examine their own perspectives and practices and to develop a critical awareness of how cultural hegemony or educational inequity is still affecting students from culturally diverse groups. Student teachers should be prepared for culturally responsive teaching, which is validating and multidimensional, because teachers create supportive learning communities by valuing cultural diversity. They also develop this kind of knowledge of cultural diversity and incorporate this knowledge into curriculum and instruction to make curriculum and teaching more responsive to students. It is comprehensive because teachers teach not only the knowledge, but also skills, values, and attitudes to help students maintain and develop their personal identities and connections with their ethnic communities. It is also empowering and transformative because it aims to prepare students to become more successful learners and better human beings. It builds on their strengths and further enhances these strengths so that students be proud of their cultural identities and become committed to promote greater inequality among ethnic groups. It is also emancipatory because students are taught to find their own voices, to engage in multiple ways of knowing and thinking, and to be responsible for their own learning and for helping one another to achieve success. And in the end, a brief summary of my presentation. Culturally responsive teaching values the personal and cultural strengths of students from diverse ethnic groups and draws upon this diversity to form an encouraging, supportive, stimulating, and cooperative learning environment for all students. Critical race theory, on the other hand, guides teachers to develop a critical awareness of diversity and racial issues and of their own perspectives and practices, which is fundamental for a culturally responsive teaching. We need to embrace both to truly celebrate diversity in multicultural classrooms. Thank you very much for your attention.